What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the next video in the data structure video series. In this video, we're going to be doing our first data structure, and that is arrays. Arrays are super important, and you're definitely going to use them when you do pretty much any type of programming, definitely complex programming. And so in this series, or in video, we're going to go over what is an array, some basic information about them, and I'm going to give you a little demonstration how it works. It won't take very long. So essentially, an array is a collection of items. So it's a collection of items. And the items are all the same data type. And what I mean by that is if you have an array, they're all either integers or doubles or strings or chars or whatever data type you're using. You can't have an array that has some integers and some doubles and some strings. They're all the same data type. And each data entry, each value in your array is stored in essentially a slot. And each slot represents one data point that you're storing. And the slots are then, they have an address. So then you can access that slot directly in your code. That address for a slot, we refer to that as an index. And then the index always starts at 0. And so for example, let's say you add a letter A into your array. That is at index 0. And let's say you add a B in your array. So now at index 0, you have A, and now at index 1, you have B. So I'm going to give you a little demonstration on how this works. So we have, I'm just going to draw this. So we have 4 slots here. And I'm going to put 4, well, we're going to give our array a name. It's just going to be ARR. And in each slot, because you have to remember these are slots, in each of these slots, we're going to give it a string value. So this is going to be A, B, C, D. Now remember, each slot has an index or an address. So this is index 0, index 1, index 2, index 3. Now if we had more elements in here, the next slot would be index 4, 5, 6, 7, up until you have your however many you need. So now what this gives us the ability to do is in our code, we can directly access what is at each slot by referring to their index. So I'm just going to write some pseudocode. So let's say we have the array name, and in these brackets we put 1. Now this is the index 1, and this is going to return whatever is at index 1. So it's going to return B. Now let's say we want to access index 3. So we're going to go the name, and this, remember, 3 is the index. It's going to return D. Now some other things we could do is we could replace an element. Let's say at array 0, we want it to equal Z. So now what this does is it goes to index 0, which is right here, and it replaces A with Z. We could do that, and you could do that for any index in your array. Replace any item. If you want to add a new index, as long as you have memory slots in your array, because you allocate it for a certain size in your code. So in your code, let's say you have an array and you set it to 10 entries, that means you'll have 10 slots. So as long as you have memory left in your array, slots left in your array, you can add an item at array slot 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 up until you used all the slots you set. Other methods you could use is a size method, and each programming language kind of has their own name for this, so we're just going to refer to it as size. So let's say we have size, and we pass in the array name. And this is going to return 4, because you have 1, 2, 3, 4. You have 4 items in your array. it is not going to return 3 because 3 is just the index. That's the address of the last slot in our array. So right now it's just going to return 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 because we have 4 elements in our array. So guys, that's everything you really need to know about arrays. They're super useful. And when you guys do programs, you're going to use arrays to store just basic data or sometimes just simple numbers that you need in your program to run. And they're nice because then you can create a loop and loop through every item in the array, whether you need to compare them or print them to the screen or find a certain item. It's really nice and convenient. So that's everything in this video. The next video is on stacks. So that will be the next video in the data structure series. So stay tuned for that. Thanks, guys, and hit the subscribe button.